We're talking about British grown chrysanthemums today on Pots and Trowels, and that's brought to you with the support of Cobra Garden and King Seeds. Hello and welcome to Pots and Trowels. Well, we've come to visit Paula and Stephen at Floral Media today, who have a flower farm in Nottinghamshire. Here we are in November, but they've still got lots of flowers that are looking absolutely amazing. So we've come to have a chat with Stephen, find out exactly what's been selling this year, what's grown well, and what they're cutting at the moment. So I'm going to try and find them in the polytunnel here, where it's got some amazing chrysanthemums. So if I'm just going to wander down and catch up with Stephen. All right, Stephen, all looking good, good.
Yeah.
So how's it doing? I mean, for those that haven't seen what you've done here before, just tell us a little bit about the flower farm here at Floral Media.
So we've been flower farming in its own right for 3.5 years and slowly built to what we are now. We're farming on around about 2.5 acres and just trying to work out the seasonality and seeing how we can extend and get later and later into the year or earlier in the year.
Yeah, because I would imagine the bulk of your cut flowers are going to be in the summertime, aren't they? Yeah, and they're grown outside and under polytunnels.
Yeah, seasonal. So we actually start with ranunculus in the spring, well, daffodils and tulips as well. Then, so yeah, peaking out probably with your dahlia season from June, July, August. Even now, we've still got dahlias. And everything in between, but it depends on your market as well. So we're working out our ideal market.
Yeah, and it's amazing because, you know, we're in November now, but you've still got outside quite a lot of flowers. There's helichrysums, dahlias, as you mentioned, some outdoor chrysanthemums. It looks like a lavatier, a lovely pink mallow as well, yeah, I've noticed.
It is. I think it might be cosmos that you see, but there is mallow has just finished.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just a part of sowing things late as well. So you go early and late, so you've got to have succession sowing. Things that you learn over time, and you just get that extra couple of weeks out of a crop, which someone might have just given up on in the garden, but we've just sown it that bit later.
Right, to extend the season.
Yeah, and probably brought it into a polytunnel as well. And that just gives you that extra 2 or 3 weeks, but then you lose. Then, you know, the weather does beat you eventually.
Short days.
The light does,
yeah, exactly. And do you know roughly how many different types of cut flower you're growing?
We've got 80 varieties of different cut flowers. Yeah, I don't think we can cope with them anymore.
No. And I suppose the biggest thing for all British cut flower growers is, you know, from this time of the year onwards, because the bulk of it is, as you say, spring till early autumn. But, you know, we're surrounded here by these beautiful chrysanthemums. Yeah. So presumably these are going to keep going for a while longer.
Yeah, this is a mid-season one. These are the Bloom Aloise types. We have we have earlies which are finished, and we've still got some mid-seasons outside, which are sprays. The blooms are way better inside because they're protected from the weather.
Right.
So the rain will just dash the flowers a bit. And then we move on to late chrysanthemums. Okay. So we've got the succession all the way through. And they're a little bit laboursome to grow. The blooms in particular, you've got a disc bud to get one big flower.
So it would normally produce lots of flowers.
Yeah, you can see where we've taken the buds off, look, on the side.
I see.
So that has to be done daily.
Right.
From probably about early August time.
Okay.
Then you're just taking the little side buds off to create that big bloom flower.
Right.
Puts all its strength
these
in.
are beautiful because, you know, we all think of a bunch of chrysanthemums that you get from a supermarket or a petrol station that are not British cut flowers, and they look very different. These are more sort of natural, as if they're grown in a garden. That almost a bit, and I mean it in a lovely way, a bit old-fashioned.
Yeah, they are. I mean, it's definitely an old-fashioned thing.
Yeah.
Chrysanthemum. It's got this perception of being that as well.
Yeah.
But I think there are the new varieties that are coming through. The way that people want to be seasonal in the way that they buy flowers and use flowers, that's helping a lot. And also, for example, if you're a full-on commercial chrysanthemum grower, every single one would look the same. That is doable, we can do that, but we don't want them all at the same time because our customers are wanting them weekly, every other day, some next week, some 2 weeks' time. So it actually is better for us to not have them all at the same time. You can do that, but and we could do that, but it doesn't suit.
Well, I
work
think
for
that's
us.
the charm of the British grown flowers from somebody like you. You don't want them to look like mass produced,
No.
where they're grown on thousands of
That's right.
acres.
Yeah.
And the great thing about chrysanthemums is, as a cut flower, they've got a really long vase life, haven't they?
Yeah, 3 weeks at least.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. And just keep going as long as you clean the water, change the water, absolutely fine.
So these will carry on looking at them, because there's some fully open, some still in time, not bud, but just opening. These will carry on for a few more weeks.
We've probably got 3 weeks
right,
from these, and depending on the frost, because if we get something below -3, it won't kill the plant, but it will damage the flowers.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So, and these are all grown from cuttings, so you'll keep the plants.
Once they're dashed by the first hard frost, then we'll actually choose about 20 really strong crowns, lift them, pot them, put them into the glass house, very low minimal protection. They will start to throw shoots out in January,
right?
And we'll start to take cuttings again for next year.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
And this series, what did you say it's called?
Eloise.
Eloise, and they come in a range of different colours.
You can see them here. There's pink, white or cream or
I love
white.
this one.
Yeah.
Isn't this beautiful?
Yeah.
And when it's fully open, it's
lovely.
It's almost like it's beautiful.
And then you've got the orange and the yellow. And we've got a salmon one, which you've just come past up there.
Okay.
So
these, you've probably got another 3 weeks on them.
Yeah.
So that's taking us, well into November, depending on the weather. So what happens then? Is that it? All finished?
No, we've got that lates then,
Lates?
which actually are just starting to flower.
Okay.
So we can go and have a look.
Yeah. Are they in the next tunnel?
Yep.
Right. We're going to have a look at those. So these are the late varieties, so only just starting to show flower.
Yeah.
So these should go on, well into December or even beyond?
Mid-December, I think.
Mid-December.
Yeah, so if you think traditionally, the coal miners used to grow them a lot, didn't they? And that was, they'd have coal-fired greenhouses, so they would have grown them outside and then brought them in their clay pots into the greenhouse.
Yeah.
And they'd have flowers all the way up to Christmas. So their ideal thing would be to get them for Christmas Day, and that would be lovely for us to do it.
It would be nice, wouldn't it?
So these are going to have no heat in here, but what we've done...
So you're in a polythene tunnel, but yes.
So what we've done, we didn't plant them outside and bring them in, we planted them in here, but we kept them in pots for a while outside in 9 centimetre pots, and then planted them around about early August, sort of late July. Then let them grow rapidly, and they'll always want to flower at the time they flower. It's all to do with the day length. Everything's to do with the day length. That's why you see people with dark greenhouses, they cut out the light to try and trick the chrysanthemums into flowering earlier.
Because these essentially produce their buds on the shortening days rather than the lengthening days, don't they?
Yeah. And as long as they've got good nutrition, although they're quite forgiving things, then they'll just grow, and then they'll produce. Obviously, sprays, you actually have to take out the lower branches early on to create more. So you want 3 to 5 stems per plant, as you do with the bloom chrysanthemums, but then you have to dispud them. With these, you actually take the centre bud out. So I'll take this one out.
Right, so that's one spray. That's how it grows naturally.
What's going to happen is that will actually bloom, and then the rest will take a while. So you actually do that, and then that allows them all to bloom at the same time.
Yeah. So again, that's an ongoing thing, wandering through, taking a few out.
You see it when you watch the Dutch growers. You see them all. They've got teams just doing this all day.
Pinching them out.
Yeah.
And again, are these modern varieties?
No.
These are old-fashioned varieties still.
Some are modern hybrids, but very few. I mean, we're working with the traditional varieties here.
Okay.
Yeah.
But again, in a whole range of colour. I mean, that we can only just see them in bud, but you've got sort of yellowy orange, some really dark burgundy one.
Yeah.
I love these just here, Stephen.
Yeah.
These are really weird, aren't they? The petal formation on these.
Some of these haven't had the centre bud taken out, but this is called Dance Pearl. And it's just like a spoon-shaped chrysanthemum. It's just really nice and really healthy, lovely foliage. It's obviously the weed there, look.
Yeah.
So it
just shows that you're a natural grower.
Yeah. And they're just gonna, if you think 3 to 4 weeks in a vase, they're gonna be lovely. So even if you can harvest them second week of December, you're going to get them through to Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah. Now, you're obviously going on quite a large scale here because you're cutting for, you know, florists and flower shops, that type of thing. But you could do it on a smaller scale at home, couldn't you? Easily,
yeah.
you know.
As I said, the miners used to do it a lot.
Yeah.
And you could. These you can leave them in the garden if you protect them. But the frost will damage the flowers without a doubt. So that's why you could grow them in a clay pot or lift them out of the garden into a clay pot, pop them somewhere frost-free with some daylight, and they will flower away quite happily.
Yeah. And there's no extra heat in this tunnel. You've just basically given it an inner lining of fleece.
So we can cope with about a -3, maybe -4, and that will just, so the tunnel itself will keep 2 degrees of frost out. This on the inside will keep another 1 or 2. So it's just really just trying to protect that flower.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the plant. The plant will be okay.
Yeah. And then exactly the same with these. If anybody's growing them, chop them down, overwinter the stalls, the roots, and then start them off again in the spring.
They would come back in the ground itself, but we'd get too much trouble with eelworm and all sorts. So we need to lift them, pick the strong ones, and then propagate again from the strongest plants.
Because it's like a dahlia, I suppose, isn't it? Taking a cutting off the root stock sort of invigorates them, gives them that new vigour that they need.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
So these again looks like they're coming back in popularity because they did wane a little bit. You know, the blooms and the sprays this type. So you're leading the way.
Well, let's hope so. They're just a bundle of joy, aren't they, at a dark time of year? And I just hope that it's all about sustainability and British grown. If it can be grown here on this awful red clay that we've got as well, and they're only going the most to Nottingham, which is only 15 miles away, then that's great. You know, if we can do that, that's what it's all about.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. Yes, and supporting a local grower at the same time. So.
And make people smile at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. So really, if you think about it, if you're starting with your daffodils and the early sort of spring ones, maybe February, March, you're only a couple of months missing. When you've got nothing.
We actually start with forced tulips as well. I forgot about that. They're in the fridge at the minute.
Yeah.
So we've got, you know, Valentine's Day is the aim for that.
Right.
And then you steadily build to your main tulip crops during April, May.
So
with daffodils in between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're pretty much getting 10 months worth of flower now out of a year.
Yeah.
You need a bit of a time to prepare and relax in between.
You do.
And get everything planned for the next
January, that's it.
Yeah.
That's virtually all we've got.
What more do you need?
Yeah.
Oh, it's brilliant to see them. And it'd be lovely, you know, give this another month. They're going to be full of flower. They're going to be absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, another couple of, it will. Another month and they'll be.
Yeah.
Well, I'd rather them not be here in flower. I'd rather them be in someone's vase.
Yes, exactly. Well, that's true. But no, it's good that they're being grown locally. So it's good. Thank you. Really interesting to see them, and I hope it encourages some people to have a go. And if you didn't want to do them this way, because there's some of the real old-fashioned herbaceous ones, of course, isn't there?
Yes,
just plant in the garden.
Again, they're taking a massive resurgence in popularity.
Yeah.
So they actually make good cut flowers as well. So that they're flowering now. So they're proper hardy chrysanthemums. Yeah, there's 1 or 2 that are really becoming popular new
so
varieties.
Just plant them in your borders and leave them.
Yeah, chop them down and up they come again
Easy,
next
isn't
year.
It?
Yeah.
Good. Right. Well, thank you for letting us have a look. I'm going to let you get back, so you've got an order to pick. So thanks, Stephen. Well, thank you for watching Pots and Trowels, and I hope this has encouraged you to grow some beautiful chrysanthemums in your garden next year. And remember, all the videos and the podcasts that we've done in the past you can find on YouTube, where you can subscribe for free. We'll be back again with you next week in our garden, so we'll see you then. Bye.